Father Stanisław Barszczak, song from Webb Probe. Dear brothers and sisters, hope for the best, but plan for the worst. The mission of Stanisław Barszczak is to be the leading national forum open to all for the impartial discussion of public issues important to the religion membership, community, and Polish nations. As a non-profit public forum, relies on generous contribution to support our many public programs and civic initiatives. Your support enables us to focus more of our energies and resources on meeting the challenges ahead, while knowing that our day-to-day operations are founded on the Bible. Stanisław Barszczak's secret formula for success and powerful testimony in the church. Ranking every essay, Stanisław Barszczak essay. How to plot your novel, your text, is it possible to know in order to read his text. And this essay titled Song from Webb Probe. The Space Webb Telescope reveals the dark beginnings of the universe, and even that something is still missing in our physical laws. The first galaxies are too bright and too large. This is what telescope Webb shows. If the universe is about expansion, we've known about it for 100 years, galaxies from 320 million years after the Big Bang should be smaller and less luminous. Nothing like that. We have galaxies of different brightness and size located close to each other. The telescope also shows galaxies in space-time and gravitational curvature. In this way, we can observe a galaxy older than the Big Bang. Let me remind you that one of the scientific theories says that the universe began with the Big Bang 13.8 billion years ago. As I said, when discussing these issues, we now consider gravity, electromagnetism, ordinary matter, but also dark matter. But something is wrong. According to Hawking's theory, the probability of free movements of particles of matter, dust and gas has also mixed in. The universe is bombarded with atoms and subatoms every day. It's happening right now. And these now perpendicular interactions of forces, particles, dust and gas, these are not galaxies. So we may be wrong not to include dark matter and the energy of the universe in our calculations. Moreover, we may ask, are all the measurements wrong? Is there a crisis of cosmology? Catastrophe? It threatens now in a solar storm. The sun is becoming more active. Sunspots are increasing and solar storms are becoming more frequent. What threat do we have to face? What happens when a powerful solar storm hits us? The cyclical activity of the sun can be tracked. The universe of fascination. This is our cosmic destiny. The hunt for the 9th planet of the solar system is underway in space. What will a trip to Mars be like? The space race has begun. Elon Musk, NASA, China. Who will win the space race? These entities send probes and rockets into space. A Harvard professor believes in aliens, dark energy. What's behind it? Is the crisis of cosmology, I said. We are moving from the Higgs field to consciousness now. Matter does not consist of matter, so we expect new solution in the descriptions of our cosmic beginning. Good luck to the astronomers, they are out here. The contemporary wrestling of astronomers with the universe, in my opinion, is a record of the condor song from a distant Andes, about mankind's eternal dreams of soaring on the wings of fate, hope and love. The James Webb Telescope has just found a clue to another universe on the edge of the universe. It's bigger than infinity. This telescope has been working in space for a year and a half. Probe with the telescope launched into space on Christmas 2021. Based on the most beautiful images with the optimal technical sensitivity of modern wonder instruments, astronomers seems to have intended to restore the truth. In other words, to fruitfully adopt the evolutionary way of thinking affecting contemporary cosmological problems. This evolutionary mindset is like God's fingerprint in numbers. What was before the Big Bang? Why did the Big Bang happen? We don't know that yet. The multiverse hypothesis explained by Neil deGrasse Tyson, similar to Hawking theory, looking at images of space from the Webb Probe. We can also ask, how did life begin? Or ask about Earth history. Scientists finally see what's inside a black hole. Brian Cox asked the question, is the universe infinite? The first ever true picture of the universe before the Big Bang has just been announced. The Big Bang was bad in some theories. A star 200 million years older than the universe, as I mentioned. How physicists proved that the universe is not locally real? Brian Cox asked, is the Big Bang theory wrong? What was before the Big Bang? Also, Brian Greene discusses the problem. What was before the Big Bang? American excellent science speaker and makes complex cosmological concepts easier to understand. The Big Bang explains the evolution of the universe from an initial density and hot temperature that now far exceed humanity's ability to replicate. Thus, the most extreme conditions at the earliest times of the universe are speculations, and an explanation for the Big Bang should be taken with a grain of salt. However, that shouldn't stop us from asking questions like what was before the Big Bang. Brian Greene mentions the possibility that time itself may have originated with the birth of the cosmos some 13.8 billion years ago. To understand how the universe was formed, scientists combine mathematical models with observations and develop practical theories to explain the evolution of the cosmos. The Big Bang theory, which is based on the equation of classical general relativity, points to singularity at the beginning of cosmic time. This singularity was noted to contain all the energy at space-time of the universe. The moment immediately after the initial singularity is part of the Planck epoch, the earliest period in the history of our universe. I refer ambitious readers and listeners to me to topics like gravitational singularity, space-time singularity, and so on. A singularity is a state where gravity is so intense that space-time itself would collapse catastrophically However, the physical theories of general relativity and quantum mechanics, as they stand today, do not apply before the Planck epoch, which is the first period in the history of the universe, I said. And correcting this will require developing the correct approach to quantum gravity as a science of today. Some manipulations of modern quantum gravity suggest that time itself may be an emergent property, which leads some physicists to conclude that time did not exist before the Big Bang, while other scientists are open to the possibility of a time before the Big Bang. One of the common misconceptions about the Big Bang model is that it fully explains the origin of the universe. However, the Big Bang model does not describe how energy, time, and space were created, but rather describes the rise of the present universe from an ultra-dense and high-temperature initial state. As we already know, visualizing the Big Bang by comparing its size to everyday object is misleading. When the size of the universe at the time of the Big Bang is described, it is referring to the size of the observable universe, not the entire universe. Here it is worth mentioning the secrets of string theory after Brian Greene. Neil deGrasse Tyson, I said, asked what drives scientific progress, and it's about traveling faster than light in space. Also, read the article online, The Hidden Reality of Quantum Physics with Sim Carroll. So there are wise people who create, as it were, the fifth dimension of the world. What more to say? With the James Webb Telescope, we open ourselves to the greatest imagination of mankind. I am immediately accompanied by the Polish writer Bruno Schulz, poet and writer. A tangled thicket of grasses, weeds, and bodiakis is buzzing in the heat of the afternoon. Sun afternoon. The garden's afternoon nap is roaring with the swarm of flies. Golden stubble screams in the sun like a red locust. In the heavy rain of fire, crickets scream, seed pods explode silently like grasshoppers. Looking far into space with the latest telescope for me is like walking in the month of August through our childhood town. Imagine, in my opinion, in the center among the crazy green of August, spreading leaves of burdock, birds, or rather black leaves sitting on tree branches in the evening, among black cockroaches poking out from under the floors, we will find the father, who in the cinnamon shops, the book by Bruno Schulz, transforms into a demerge. All this dressed up in a child fascination with the world. Does it happen that seeing the carefree children you pass on your way from work or to work, a longing that is difficult to tame and define breaks out in you? You observe, as it were, your childhood years. You hear words full of tenderness, linguistic mastery, and exceptional imagination. I've been missing lately. Let me be private. I'm looking for half-forgotten places, checking how they imprinted on me, and trying to figure out why fields seen 1,000 times. I come back, and Schultz comes back to me again, a tangled thicket of grasses, weeds, etc. All this dressed up as a child fascination with the world. What an immensity of experiences, discoveries was now opening. The secret of life it's the most essential secret, reduced to this simpler years old, carefully observing everything around and communicating with the world by beating a tin drum. The secret of life is the most essential secret, I said, reduced to this simpler, more handy and playful form, was revealed here to insatiable curiosity. What if you stopped growing? Another question. Always free defiance of the world of adults, always 3 years old, careful observing everything around, and communicating with the world by beating a tin drum. See Tin Drum novel by Gintergrass. And the question, where did it go? Well, the time where do all the old heads go? All the railway, all wagon. Where is the time? Time of which there was always a lot, that you smeared it thickly in slices of bread, that you had cans and baskets full of it when you came back from the forest. I remind you, I can't hear air, thyme smells, and the sun sleeps in the hay. I stopped feeling mediocre, accidental, mortal. Where could this tremendous joy come from? I felt that it was connected with the taste of tea and cake, but that it infinitely transcended it, that it need not to be of the same nature. Where does it come from? Which means where to catch her. Finally, I would like to take a walk through Combray village, Proust town of, of his childhood, its delight over the smallest elements of life. I'd like to visit Bradbury's Greentown, sea novel by Bradbury. I look at the big pictures from the Webb telescope and I see childhood, which remind me of the novel. Children from Bullerbyn, Academy of Clecks, Mr. Hello Karolcia, with poems by John Brzechwa, Julian Tuwim, and Ludwig Jerzy Kern. Later with the series about Mr. Samochodzik and other stories, see Adam Bachdai's novel. To this day, I remember the beautiful poems by Kern from Polish magazine Przekrój. The Wise Pillow with incredibly colorful illustrations to the poems and the funny poem. A snake walks along a narrow path. It does not move any leg, in which the words were written in such a way that they formed the shape of a snake. Many of these poems I knew and recalled by heart. They just remembered. It is a pity that the popularity of Mr. Kern's poems has waned a bit these days. And now I'm with the girls of today. Girls, I encourage you to read Pollyanna. Pollyanna Whittier, an 11-year-old orphan, is placed in the care of her strict aunt, Miss Polly Harrington. A woman considers it her duty to raise a girl, the daughter of her beloved sister. Cheerful and contagious with optimism, Pollyanna changes the face of the town. It teaches its inhabitants how in every situation, no matter how unpleasant, to see something that can be enjoyed. Even Mrs. Snow, the eternally dissatisfied woman confined to bed by illness, and the town's richest man, Mr. John Pendleton, who are generally regarded as a boorish and miser, fall under the girl's charm. Soon everyone is playing reasons to be happy, all except for the unapproachable aunt. What is the story behind Miss Polly's frigidity? What role did Mr. Pendleton and the local doctor play in her life, will the tragic subject that will affect Pollyanna and which will deprive the girl of the ability to find reasons to be happy in all circumstances, touch a tender chord in her own heart. Written more than a century ago by Eleanor Porter, the novel is one of the classics of world children's literature. Finally, I also recommend in Polish language novel Konkol by Zośka Papużanka, a novel about returning to holidays spent in the countryside, to nature, childhood, difficult, marked by the unexplained intergenerational conflict of people forced to be together. The narrator looks at the world through the eyes of a teenage child, torn between his father, performing the function of authority, but distant and dominated by his father, and the mother, who is an ideal, extraordinary figure, but rejected by her husband's family, unable to find herself, in one's own place. Throw away guilt. It's a story of memory. Herbs, leaves, grass put between the pages of a book can mean something we want to keep or something we want to forget. Concord is a book about friendship, trying to reconcile the world as a city child with holidays, a child from the village, about the search from someone who tries hard to be like us, although he is not. Concord is finally looking for an answer to the oldest of the questions. What is good and what is evil? Are we marked by evil, or do we choose it consciously? Can a child be bad? This book smells of dry grass, milk and tree bark. This book hurts like the first experience of injustice. It is charming and scary, false and true, like every fairy tale. As you can see, I moved very easily from images recordings of human song from the James Webb telescope to children's reading. You see, because the universe can be huge, but also small, like the first love on the way to heaven. Unfortunately, most of us still have to go through purgatory. It is a place where we are saved, but we do not yet see God face to face. So let's do ourselves a favor and wish even the last happiness. Let astronomers envy us our inner beauty, which I wish for myself and for you. Thank you.